What's up, guys? This is Rohit from Red Black and White, aka Mr. Red. How are you guys doing? Hopefully really well. I'm essentially making a follow-up video of my previous one, D&D, and my impression of D&D. And if you guys watched that video, you know I love D&D. And so I kind of wanted to delve a little bit deeper into it and create some unique things to kind of help you guys get a better idea of how to make your own campaign, your own world. And so this is my first part 1 video of how to kind of create your own unique campaign. Not taking it from something else, not like using supplements, just your own world and your own storyline and how you would do it. And the best way for me to kind of show that is by example. I'll be making my own, essentially my own D&D world. It takes quite a bit time to make your own full-fledged campaign, so this is probably going to be like a multi-parter video, but the first step is going to be obviously, you know, creating the world itself and stuff like that. I'm a world builder, so it comes really easy and natural to me. Some people are easy with characters, some people have the story already figured out. You know, everyone has their own process. Mine is to begin with the world itself and have a structure for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna be using paint. It's not gonna look that great, I'm pretty sure, so you know, please don't be offended. I don't use paint that often, but this is just to kind of help you guys get an idea of how I do things. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, here we go. Hey guys, so let us begin, right? One thing I wanted to kind of let you guys know, this process that I'm going to be doing to make this campaign, not only am I going to share every step that I take into making this campaign, but once I finish, I'm actually going to, you know, live stream it, or maybe make a video of it, of me actually DMing with my friends with this campaign that I've just made with you guys, so you can kind of see it in action and see if it's actually good or not. But you know, let's start with basically what kind of game do I want to make. You know, do I want to go with low or high fantasy? That's usually one of the big things in D&D and role-playing games. You know, it's set in like a fantastical time period with knights and you know, dragons and mages and things like that. Or you can go into other routes like science fiction, where there's endless possibilities in that too. You know, like space, future. You can go into like Mad Max style of like apocalypse. You can go into like an urban setting if you like. Just so many different things you can do with that as well. And then there's you know, like steampunk era, industrial age. I mean, possibilities are endless. Industrial, yeah. So where would we go is really the main question here, because I wouldn't necessarily recommend beginning with something like steampunk, industrial. You can even go Wild West, of course, I forgot about that, but like, you don't want to go into these just yet, in my opinion, if you're a beginning DM. I mean, if you have experience, then go right ahead, try it out, you know, do multiple cool things with it. I bet it's going to be awesome. But for now, I would not focus on this. I would focus on low or high fantasy. Main reason is this is more easier to make and maintain than science fiction and steampunk. Examples being, with science fiction, you have things like guns, and guns can get complicated because a sword, you know, you only have maybe like 10 or different variations of usual melee weapons. I mean, if you really want to get technical with it, you will have more, but you have sword, great sword, you know, mace, things like that. With science fiction though, you can have like 10 different types of guns, different types of bullets, different types of attachments. If you really want to get into those things, it can get complicated. So for now, and because I just want to keep it a little bit simpler for me, I'm going to go into low or high fantasy. And between the two, I'll pick low fantasy. Main reason being, I kind of want to I haven't played too much of low fantasy, so I kind of want to go into more low fantasy this time, and kind of have my own unique kind of a world that I can build out of it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with low fantasy. So I'm gonna get rid of these if I can. Just erase it all, man. Erase it all. So while I'm erasing this, let me talk a little bit more about what I would want to do in low fantasy. And so in low fantasy, let's say I want to go into let's go with this classic medieval time, right? So let's go into where knights exist. You have chivalry. Chivalry isn't dead. You have the princesses. You have the crazy kings who want power, or ministers who want power, and like, you know, they don't give a crap about anything. I'm just gonna get rid of that. Okay, so it's gonna be medieval time. So I'm gonna set in medieval time, and that basically kind of helps me get a better idea of what stuff I'll be making next. You know, this is setting my mind up to get in the thought process of, okay, we're going with medieval, so we're gonna have things like you know, knights fighting on horsebacks, wars. You know, like what kind of wars are we talking about? Like what can happen in medieval times? There's a lot of things. So I would say medieval time, age, because I'm setting in low fantasy, I'll set it on Earth. So I'll make it year 1100 AD. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a decent time to do this campaign. As for the world itself, I'll set it in England, because good old England will kind of help me kind of pretty much make names easier, because instead of like going into like Spain or France, where I'll have to think of like different unique names depending on that time period. But here I can go into like, you know, Richard, Eric, you know, Arthur. There's so many different names I can go, and they're much easier to come up with. So I'll go with England. Next thing I will want to do is kind of make a really crappy drawing of England. There we go. This is a really important part of the process. You have to make a really crappy drawing. No, you don't. You don't have to. I mean, you probably can just take a picture of England, but this is awesome drawing, you know? Awesome crappy. There we go. Can't forget that. Sorry, I was just putting something random there. So we have that. Next thing we want to do is, because England is a pretty big country, we don't want to go explore the whole thing just yet. We want to keep it smaller, so I would actually make only the top part of it explorable, and then in that top part I'm going to make the region, because I think in the north of England is Scotland, I think. So I'll make this area a little bit foresty. So look at that, look at the little dots. So that's kind of the area that I'm going to call Pinewood Forest. And then I'm gonna make a town right in the edge of Pinewood Forest, and I'm going to call that I'm just gonna call the town Red Oak. Yeah, Red Oak Town. So we have actually gone pretty far now. Look, we went from just having a simple idea of low fantasy to now having a town, and in this town, because it's neighboring essentially a forest, I can already imagine what the economy would be. You know, it'd be like set in medieval times. It would be fur trading, hunting. I mean, I guess fur trading would be like hunting. There would be wood for furniture. So like there'd be a lot of like what do you call those people? Dang, what are they called? Axemen? People who cut trees, man. That's what they're called. It was in Red. It wasn't in like Red Riding Hood, wasn't it? What, am I wrong? No, never mind. Whatever. It's cool. So yeah, so we already know the economy though. We kind of get an idea of economy. So we have economy, and because we're in Red Oak, so let me kind of make a better picture now. So this is Red Oak. You know, this is all the forest. So just, or I can just do like forests, more forests. So there's forests here, and this is Red Oak, this right here. So this is a town, and you know, the hunters go out and do their thing. The tree cutters go do their thing. Let's see. Next thing I would want to focus on is this a kingdom, or is it just like a neutral town? I'll go with a kingdom. I'll say that this town is part of a kingdom of